Yo, what is up? I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this live that we are going to talk about today. I'm still sliced over using that countdown. I was like, I'm going to try to use this countdown thing and be a little bit more creative in how we doing these live videos. But today's live is going to be dope because we're going to listen to somebody who has has probably favorite my favorite podcast, Gil's Arena. So we're gonna talk a little bit about it because Gilbert Arenas, former NBA player, gave some advice, some financial advice to the young NBA athletes, and it reminded me of conversations we've had on the channel before. And I was like, "Yo, this is dope to talk about it." So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share this video, like, interact, comment, and the whole nine. I'm Marcus, the debt-free dad. Here we're talking about finances and attorney reactions. We try to keep it on the money side of the game, but sometimes we go off topic, but we always find a way to loop it into money because, hey, everything's tied about money. I am a licensed attorney in several jurisdictions, but none of those jurisdictions are any jurisdictions that allow me to be your attorneys. And even if they are the same jurisdiction, I'm not your attorney. So if you want professional advice, find a professional in your area. Now, I'm sure everybody knows who Gilbert Arenas is if you're familiar with sports. If you're familiar with sports, but if you aren't, Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero, Hibachi, Two Guns Arenas, all of these nicknames. But Gilbert Arenas was drafted, I believe, by the Golden State Warriors. He really didn't get any burn because they had Monte Ellis, they had Steph. The dude was an offensive genius. He can put the ball in the hoop. That's just kind of was his game. He had some big moments in Golden State. The Wizards picked him up, and the Wizards probably had the most successful teams that I can remember in my lifetime. Yo, what's up? Oh, all right. I was like, what in the world? I thought I was wilding. But he probably had the most success, and the Wizards had the most success when they had Gilbert Arenas, Caron Butler, Antoine Jameson. And so now that Gilbert Arenas is no longer in the league, he's in the podcast space, and he gives a lot of takes on what's going on in sports, the NBA, but a lot of his subjects and discussion touches other issues. And so I thought this was a good time to just talk about it and see what he has to say. So let's go ahead and pull up the clip so we can get started. All right, and I want to give a shout out to Fubo Sports is where I got this clip from. Let me see, what's the best way to do it so we can make that. Yeah, I don't need to be all up in my grill. Let's do it that way. That's probably the best way to take a look at it. But let's go ahead and play this. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are on this.
When it comes to parents and kids, this is going to be a real war.
It is, man.
It is going to be a war because kids want to be loyal to their parents. And the problem is money is involved. And this money can change your parents' life.
Right. Yeah.
And they're going to use you to do it. And I'm telling every kid, I don't care who your parent is. Right. I really don't. At this point, F them if they don't agree with this.
Right.
All right. So this is an interesting subject because, hey, Gil about to go in on something that everybody has to deal with, okay? Young NBA players, they get a bag. That bag can change their parents' life. What is the obligation of that child to help the parent?
Kids want to be loyal to their parents. And the problem is money is involved. And this money can change your parents' life.
Right. Yeah.
And they're going to use you to do it. And I'm telling every kid, I don't care who your parent is. Right. I really don't. At this point, F them if they don't agree with this.
Right.
Be careful of the agreements you sign.
Right.
That's coming from your parents.
Right.
Right. When you turn 18, make sure you have a lawyer involved before you write anything down, because now parents are.
Hey, that's 100% facts. there are actually athletes out there, especially in the past. I think it was Bernie Kosar pops like finessed the NFL team to like, yo, if you want to sign my son, y'all gotta pay me a bag. And it was kind of crazy. So that's definitely good advice right there.
Before you write anything down, because now parents are, because you can get paid, they're making you sign promissory notes on your name and not realizing that you're going to do it because it's your parents, not understanding that this is lifetime type shit where you're paying 3, 4, 5% to your parent on everything you do for the rest of your life.
I agree.
Right, so
that's wild, man.
Yeah, there's shit going. I mean, that's
what's going down right now.
There's going down. Like I've heard some wild shit.
Yo, that's crazy. I don't know. I'll be honest, man. I don't. Hey, I think most people genuinely love their parents, but to sign something where your parents got to get 3 to 5% of your earnings, like during your career, regardless of if you're an athlete, could you imagine signing something like that? Like if you were like a plumber, it really makes no sense for anybody to do it. But that's crazy that people are signing those types of things. Players are signing those types of things, trying to help out their parent, and they really doing a disservice to themselves. Let's go and finish watching the rest of what my man Gil got to say.
Heard some wild shit. There's NBA players in there that are. I'll explain how it sounds. Right. The family did a deal with the agent.
Oh, I know how it works.
That you get this player, but we want 20 grand a month to have him. Right. 20 grand a month from you to have him. Well, technically, the 20 month doesn't come from the agent, it comes from the player. So the agent charges the player that, right? Well, that comes with interest. So now you get 20, right? You're the agent, you're giving him 20, you're charging interest to me. So you're charging me 2,500. I mean 25,000. If I just paid him 20, I would save 5,000. So it's like I'm getting double. And if I leave you, that comes with a penalty. Because once I find out, like, oh, hell no, you done made a deal with me that if you leave me within these years, that I have to pay you this upfront money that I don't even have anymore. You know, so there's deals that are being done behind these kids' back.
Real right
that's
now.
really
real right now.
Parents out there, get your shit together.
Get your shit.
Love your kid.
Listen,
if they break
it's
your
your
back
kid.
off,
It's
that's
your
your kid.
Hey, listen, if you are a mother or a father.
I agree. Hey, I'ma just be honest. Like I say it all the time. You shouldn't be a burden on your parents, and you shouldn't be a burden on your kid. You know what that means? It means that you gotta have the ability to be able to take care of your damn self. You know what I mean? Like you gotta take care. I'm not saying like illness, some calamity or catastrophe, but generally you shouldn't burden your parents, and you damn sure shouldn't burden your kids.
Right? You cannot get child support from your child. Right? I'm just saying, it's like
Let's run that back because I thought that was interesting.
Right? You cannot get child support behind these kids'
It's
back.
real right
That's
now.
really later on.
Right now.
Parents out there, get your shit together.
Get your shit.
Love your kid.
Listen,
if they break
it's
your
your
back
kid.
off,
It's
that's
your
your kid.
Hey, listen, if you are a mother or a father, right, you cannot get child support from your child. Right? I'm just saying, it's like, you're my child and you need to support me. Stop that shit, right? Stop that shit. You're supposed to be putting your children in a position for them to take care of their children.
Right.
That's how it works. Not to take care of you. You're not raising your kid to take care of you.
Right.
That's wild.
I'm sorry, that's not you. Oh, you got these kids who, what's the first thing you can do with your money? Oh, buy my mama a house. Buy my daddy a house. No. That's not how it's supposed to be done. That's moving backwards. If you want to do it, okay, have your parents move with you, right? Try it like that. Like all you guys buying
to work.
I mean, I know the money's changing. These kids are getting 7, 8 million, right? Just remember, Michael Jordan didn't buy his first house until he was 8 years into the league.
Dang.
He was living in a condo, right? I mean, you just got to understand. Save your first. Get a condo.
Hey, I think all that is facts. That first contract, you got to stash it up. The second contract is where you get paid too. And you'll hear a lot of athletes say, you don't really want to start spending and being generous until you get that second contract. Because that second contract, if you're sticking around, is going to be much more lucrative.
Because like, think about your career. Get a condo or something close to the arena, right? Where you can go in, access, work on your game, 4 years. That's the bag. That's the bag. You should be trying to save as much as you can the first 4 years because you don't know what's going to happen after. No matter what you're getting paid, no matter what kind of endorsements you got, try to save as much as you can. Have a little fun. Put yourself in a budget, 10, 20K a month, right? Think about what that is. 10, 20K a month. That's a lot of fucking money, right? 10 to, don't have 42 people around you. Like, you just manage, learn how to like process things, and then once you get that 200-300 million, now you're in a whole different ball game.
All right, so hey, we got to talk about that because I generally agree with everything Gilbert Arenas said right there. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've actually met people and know people who they plan their entire retirement livelihood on one of their kids being successful. Like, oh man, I got to make sure. Hey, I got a lot of kids because one of them going to have to be the one that can kind of take care of me. And I think that's a fucked up way to look at. I think that isn't that 10 o'clock yet. I can't use that word. I think that's a jacked up way of looking at it. I just think that historically, wealth is meant to be passed down and kind of across. I think when you get wealth and you pass it up, you cut off what you need to do to make sure that it can go to future generations. Now that don't mean like, cause y'all probably watch this and like, man, BFD don't give a damn about his parents. Like, nah, I will help my parents. I think that everybody, if you can help your parents, you should. I don't think that nobody is obligated to help their parents. Okay, I guess let's put it into categories, okay? Because I heard a couple of calls on like finance shows on Dave Ramsey, and the guy called in and he was worried about his parents not having money for retirement. And the first question he asked was, how much money do your parents make? And he said something like, I think they make like $200,000 a year, but they don't got nothing saved and they like in their 70s. Like, in that situation, it's not a child's responsibility to help their parent financially for them making bad financial decisions. Like, I in that situation, like, yo, you got to figure it out on your own because, like, and I said this before in another video, if somebody had a substance abuse problem or alcohol problem, you wouldn't fix their alcohol problem by giving them more alcohol. No, you want to take it away so that they can learn how to be responsible and do without it. But if somebody got a money problem and they spend money recklessly without abandon and just kind of don't really care, you can't fix a money problem by giving someone else more money. It's not going to fix a money problem. But money is the only thing we do that. You ain't never see somebody like, hey, man, this dude can't quit cigarettes, so I'm going to give him cigarettes till he can't smoke, till he get tired of smoking them. Nah, that's not how it works. But with money, when people have money issues, we try to fix money issues by giving them money to enable them and continue the bad behavior. But I don't think a child is obligated to help a parent for financial stress that is solely because they didn't plan or they didn't do their due diligence. I think that's one way you got to eat it. And I'm be honest, like me, if I knew it were me, I wouldn't even want to ask my kids because I got myself into this situation. I need to be able to get myself out of it. Now, if it's a situation where, a job loss, an illness, with some unique circumstances come in, you have to have the ability to be, if you got the ability to help your folks, you definitely help your folks. But I don't think you should be obligated. And I don't know why. I don't know. Like, I guess the easiest way to explain it is I don't want anything from my kids except for them to be able to take care of themselves. Hey, kids, if y'all really want to make me proud, become responsible, productive citizens, and don't ask me for shit. You see how easy that is? Like, if you generally don't ask me for anything, and it may be instances where they have certain situations come up where, hey, as a parent, it's your job to slide in and help. But that's the job of a parent. Isn't that the parents? Isn't that the child's role to help a parent for them making an irresponsible decision? Like, you're an adult, you have to act like an adult and not lean on your child. And I know me personally, I tend to look at it differently. Like, I don't know, if my kids are grown and out of the house, if they have families, it's like I wouldn't ask them for anything anyway, because I just don't want to put that burden on them, because that's not their responsibility. Is my responsibility as a parent to help them and make sure that they fail within a controlled environment. That's what a parent's job is for a child. Like, yo, I want my child to fail, but I want them to fail in a controlled environment. So when they do fall, they don't just get jacked up when they hit the concrete. They can, okay, they're gonna have some bumps and bruises and they can kind of move on. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, was Gilbert Arenas on point with his position on, yo, you're not obligated to really take care of your parents? Like, hey, once you get a secure bag and you reach a certain level, then hey, you can. But I think just generally, I think it's a weird way of thinking that I don't know if it's in other communities. I can only speak because hey, I'm a black guy, so I know in the black community a lot of times parents put on their kids this obligation of, hey, I did all of this stuff for you growing up. I did because I did all of this stuff. Once you become successful, it's your job to make sure that I'm good. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not how life works. Like, no, parents have an obligation to take care of their children and help their children. Children don't necessarily have an obligation to take care of their parents and help their parents. Now, if you raise your kids right, hopefully you won't be in a nursing home and nobody not showing up giving a damn about you. You want to have kids who can help you and do those type of things, but it can't be because of something that you could have avoided. Like, okay, I want my son to help me. I got enough to live a comfortable lifestyle, but I want my son or daughter to help me live this elevated lifestyle. Like, yo, if you aren't buying Gucci and Prada now, you don't need your kids to buy you Gucci and Prada to elevate your lifestyle. Passing wealth up is a way to make sure the wealth doesn't get distributed at the root to the next generations in the lower level. Wealth is meant to be passed down. You can pass it sideways, but when you're passing it up, that's kind of hustling backwards. And I think it's taken away from the future finances or the future possibilities of having generational wealth. I don't know. I just don't want to. I don't want to ask my parents for shit, and I don't want to have to ask my kids for shit. I want to ask my kids for things like, oh, I gotta have hip surgery. Um, I'm having hip surgery. Can you come pick me up from the hospital? Bring my favorite dish. Like, those are the things that I give a damn about that I want my kids to do. It won't ever be anything related to money unless it's some like crazy unforeseen circumstances, like, I don't know, I lose both of my hands in an accident and my inability to talk. And because of that, I like just can't practice law. I figure it out though. I figure it out. But if it's some wild situation like that, that's one thing. But the only time I want to lean on my kids is for like family stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yo, come through and hang out. Come by and check on me. Like, my mother had the flu and I went over there. I was like, yo, what you need from the store? And I was like, okay, what you want? She wanted whatever it was, tea and her whole list of things. And I went to go get that stuff and bring it and take it to her. Like, that's about as much as I want to lean on my kids, because it's my obligation to make sure that they have the best head start in life and that their kids have the best head start in life. And I feel like as a parent, one of the things I can do to make sure that, hey, my kids and my grandkids have a good head start in life is to make sure that they don't have to fucking take care of me. That's just kind of my position. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Hey, DFD, hey, I love my parental units. I love them, but hey, for bad financial behavior, you can't rely on me to to pull you out. I'm giving the disclaimer out now, and my parents are pretty cool with how they take care of things. You know what I mean? So luckily, fortunately, I don't have to really worry about that problem. But it is, some parents just have this obligation because I raised you. You have to do all of these things, and I think that's a jacked up way of thinking. I think it's jacked up to not have your affairs in order and try to rely on your kids. Like, hey, I got 5 kids. I gotta, yeah, hey, 20%. Hey, if 1 out of 20 hit it big, I'm gonna be taken care of. That's bull crap. You got to be able to take care of yourself so you can help, your kids and the future generations that's gonna come after. You passing all that money up is weird, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's done in other communities. I can only speak from somebody who's a member of the Black community, but I see it quite often, and that's just a jacked up way of thinking. Typically, hey, don't come for me, ladies, but typically, guys don't think like that, in my opinion. I rarely met, like, I feel like that's normally a mother thing. Like, oh, I raised you, and because I raised you, you have an obligation to take care of me or make sure that my lifestyle is elevated now that you're successful. And I was like, guys I know at least don't normally think like that. Most guys I know, older guys, they like, man, I know I did a good job with my kids because they old, they grown, and they don't ask me for nothing. That's all if you ain't asking me for nothing, what more sign do I need that I was a success as a parent? And, but it's normally some mothers may have that approach. I just think that, hey, I'm your parent, I took care of you, now you got to take care of me. I normally see it when it applies to mothers and sons. I don't know what it is. That's why that whole mantra of you got to buy your mama a house, you got to buy your mama a house, that's kind of where it comes from that ideology. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I wanted to just touch bases on this real short and simple. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the video that's on the screen. There's going to be more content related to finances and attorney reactions.